We all to go. Hello. And we are on. Hi, welcome everyone. Hi, I'm Daniel. Uh, Thanks for coming. This is the GFA MCO Share, Good Food Alliance MCO Share session number two. Today we actually have Mark Lip, but I would like to hand over to our host for the day, Mr. Renyi Chin from My Burger Lab. Hey, Renyi.
Thanks, Dan. Hi, everyone. Yeah, this is day two. It's not supposed to be consecutive, but since I was organizing it, I just went on with whatever schedule that I could fit in. So, why are we hosting this session? So basically, I realized that during MCO 1 and MCO 2, a lot of things are very different, although technically it is still under the same lockdown restriction, although we know the government have different rules set as well. But the point here is that as restaurant owners, as business owners, we realize that the things that we went through during MCO 1 and the things that we're going through MCO 2 are severely different in the sense of how customers are behaving, in fact, how we run our business as well. And of course, due to digitization and everyone being able to be on board and given the time that we had to prepare for it, I feel that there's a lot more competition out there. So how do we stand out? How do we make sure that we are able to rise above the noise? So today I have a good friend of mine, Mark Lim, from my uni days. I'm just going to do a quick introduction about him so that he can introduce himself further later. He has a chemical engineering degree, who is currently running his family business, but he also does digital marketing. So what caught my attention the other day was that he made a post saying that he spent a very small amount of money helping a F&B business to efficiently boost a post. Sorry, not to boost a post, but to advertise the post. So I know a lot of businesses out there are still using the boost button when it comes to Facebook ad. And if you don't know already by now, that is usually a big waste of money. And I also know that a lot of restaurant owners are very crippled by the thought of using Facebook Ad Manager because it becomes super complicated. There's just too many buttons to press. You hear that you have to spend thousands of dollars just to make it work. So how do we go about starting small? And Mark here today will share with us how he has been helping his clients to start small, and then once you find what works, you scale up on that campaign. So, Mark, over to you. And again, thanks to Dan for hosting us here today. We'll get on with the topic right now. Mark?
Yeah, just a quick one before Mark starts. For our audience who are new to this platform, there is actually a question segment at the bottom in case we miss out in the chat. You can ask the question there, and people who like the question, you can vote it up. If you want to speak, you can actually raise your hands and we can bring you up on stage. I'll leave it to Mark. Thank you very much, Mark. Go ahead.
All right, thanks guys. Thanks Daniel. Thanks Renyi. Good afternoon, all of you. So my name is Mark, as Renyi has mentioned earlier. And today I'm going to talk about the Z to A of running a successful Facebook or Instagram campaign. I mean, Facebook and Instagram are essentially one and the same now. So that's why we call it FBIG campaign, right? So yes, it's not a typo. It is actually Z to A, okay? So let's get started. Quick background, like Renyi shared, I'm actually a chemical engineering graduate. Renyi and I actually went to university together. And when I graduated, I actually never got into the engineering field. I went into a consulting firm. And then I spent 4 years in a consulting firm. Eventually, I left the consulting firm, and then I took over my family business. Now, my family business, we do construction, right? We do sports flooring. So like the basketball courts that you see or the futsal courts that you see. So that's my core business, right? That's essentially where I started my entrepreneur journey, essentially. And then MCO happened. So I had to leverage on whatever skills that I had, which is my sales and marketing skills. And that's how I actually ventured into digital marketing. And like Renyi shared as well, so I started small, right? Really not a lot of money, and then slowly scale from there. And then a few of my friends caught on what I was doing. Then they asked me hey, can you just help me out instead? And that's actually essentially how I actually ventured into this field. So that's what I do now. I also do Facebook ads. As you can see there, I actually write Facebook ads practitioner. I purposely chose practitioners because we actually practice ads every day, right? I look at business manager every day. It's not that I just leave it there, 1 week, have a look again. So any latest updates, we are always aware. The slightest tweaks, and we are always aware of it. That's why I put that practitioner. And of course, I do copywriting as well. So And in the case of Facebook ads, we are looking at specifically direct response copywriting. I will share a bit more on what I mean by direct response copywriting. All right, so a quick rundown of the agenda for today. What we look at is, what is Facebook ads essentially? All right, what is it actually? Why Z to A? I will definitely answer that question. The structure and types of campaigns, and a live case study. Okay, we will actually look at a live case study. All right, so what is Facebook ads essentially? It is a great way to reach out to cold traffic. Now, I have to emphasize, right, this is a cold traffic that you're going to reach out to, yeah? Cold traffic meaning people who have not heard of your brand before, who don't know what you actually do, right? People who just don't know who you are, essentially, right? That's what Facebook ads is. You are actually selling to a cold traffic, okay? It is a tool that you can use to market your products to the masses, right? And it's a marketing tool. You have to understand that Facebook ads is a marketing tool, right? Similar to Google ads, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter ads, whatever ads. These are just tools to help you carry out your marketing plans, okay? Now, what it's not, is definitely not a silver bullet that gives you 10x sales and all these things. I know there's a lot of talk and noise and all these different things that you see online, you know, that promises you all these things. Sorry to say, but that's not how it works, essentially, right? I've even seen some people treat Facebook ads like a slot machine, right? The concept is you put some money in, you know, you pull a lever and hopefully you hit a jackpot through targeting or something of that sort. It does not actually work that way, right? Facebook ads is none of this. It's not a gamble, right? There is some science to it as well behind it, okay? The best way I can describe Facebook ads, right? You know, credit card salesmen? Credit card salesmen, when they go to shopping malls, you know, they stand by the booth and counter, and then, you know, they start, you know, people who walk past them, they always just pass out, hi sir, do you want a credit card? Do you want a credit card? Facebook ads is essentially that, right? The shopping mall is their target audience. Okay, they're targeting shoppers, people who are shopping. Now, if you go to a shopping mall, chances are you're going to definitely use a credit card, right? Okay, yeah, perhaps one or two of them will definitely bring, you know, a stack load of cash, but suffice to say, I think maybe 90 to 80% of shoppers there are definitely credit card users, right? So that's what Facebook targeting is. You're targeting shoppers, right? Engaged shoppers, people who potentially will need credit cards. But then as a credit card salesman, you're going to be standing there, you're going to be passing out flyers to maybe 100, 200, I don't know, 300 people. Of course, this is the pre-COVID era, right? You know, when we had heavy footfalls in shopping complexes. So as you pass out, it's a number game, right? You're going to meet 100 people, maybe only 2 to 3. Maybe they're not really looking for credit cards as well. But since you put out a very compelling offer, you know, you give out a very good free gift, or your credit card has some sort of a good promotion, okay, then maybe they stop, they listen to you. Facebook ads is essentially that, right? You need to have an offer. You need to know what you're selling. It is, okay, one more thing, Facebook ad is not a laser targeted. That means to say, let's just take the credit card salesman in a shopping mall, for example. Every shopper in the mall is a potential client, right? That's your target group. Because they need credit card, they are already shopping, so chances are they're going to be using a credit card. That is why credit card salesmen or saleswomen, they stand in a shopping mall, right? But as you can see also, not everybody's going to take on their credit card, okay? So that's the best way I can describe Facebook ads, or an analogy that I can use to describe Facebook ads, right? Now, a rule of thumb that I always share with my clients as well, because sometimes I get asked this question, so Mark, is Facebook ads better or is Google ads better? Or then now, is YouTube ads better? Is LinkedIn ads better? You know, or I don't know, is Twitter ads better? You know, there really is no better or worse. It really depends on what you want to achieve. Yeah, Renee, we always avoid the credit card guys. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess the one thing we always avoid them is because their approach, right? They always come up to you, then they stick on to you and they follow you all the way through. Actually, that's really how Facebook ads is, right? You whisper something into WhatsApp now, or you type some word, I don't know, iPhone 12, and then lo and behold, the next thing you know, you're getting spammed by all sorts of phone case advertisements, really. So, but I guess that, that's one of the lessons that I will share as well. So on how you can actually not make people hate you, all right? How you can actually write ads so that people don't hate you, okay? Okay, anyways, back to this. Essentially, if you look at this pyramid, there are 3 stages or 3 ways I categorize a customer, right? And this is how I answer the question on whether Facebook ads or Google ads is better. The question actually is not right, all right? There's no better or worse. So stage 3, let's look at the bottom first. Stage 3, right? I didn't know I needed group. Okay, so it could be whatever it is, your service. In this case, I think, I guess most of you are restaurateurs. Your food, whatever it is that you're selling, people don't know that they need it, right? So this is what we call the cold audience, okay? And Facebook ads and, well, in this case, Instagram ads as well will work best for this segment, okay? And then you have stage 2, which is I need to think about it, So I roughly know about your product. Oh yeah, okay, I roughly know about this product. I roughly know about product A. I roughly know about product B, but yeah, I probably need to think about it. I'm not too sure. I may need some convincing, right? So that's stage 2. You still can use Facebook ads. In this case, you can actually start using Google ads as well also already, okay? Because people may be searching, I'm just going to use Rennie as an example and Burger Lab, right? For example, I want to eat burgers, right? I may just get onto Google and go like, best burger in Selangor or best burger in PJ, for example, right? And then if you are on Google ads, you will then appear on these search functions, right? Well, stage 3 people, they wouldn't even be searching for burgers. They'll just be, I don't know what to eat, and hope something comes up, right? So that's why if you serve them ads on cold traffics and everything and all, I'll just be scrolling through Facebook, oh, dang, I see Burger Lab having some promotion now or some set. Oh, okay, this is interesting. Yeah, I might just take up their offer. It's quite impulse. It's quite direct response. That's why we need people to react immediately, all right, in that sense. And then, of course, the stage 1 the stage 1 is I already know what I want. That's when Google ads will work the best. Okay, think about it. You wouldn't be going to Facebook searching for, okay, maybe you will search for Burger Lab. You want to sort of jump onto their, fan page and have a look at what's happening there. Right, so Google Ads stage 1, I already know what I want. You have a problem and you know how to solve that problem. In a way, some people call it problem aware, right? And they have a solution. Let me just give you another example. I have a client who's a chiropractor. Now, this chiropractic client has been with me since August of last year, right? And we actually ramped up from just 40 ringgit a day on ads to now 120 ringgit a day. And from one branch, they've even opened up to 2 branches. And from a small team of 5, they actually have a team of 11 people now. I'm doing lead generation from them. They have so many leads per day now that their bottleneck became they could not send out messages as fast. So we have different problems to solve now, and I'm continuously working with them in that sense. And that client of mine is starting to look into Google Ads now, right? So he had a chunk of budget that he had, and initially he allocated all for Facebook ads, but now since we're doing quite well, he wants to start diversifying to Google ads. So this is what we mean by, in a way, scaling, right? And deciding what you want to do. And take the chiropractic client, for example. For them, for those of you who are not familiar with what chiropractors do, they sort of help you realign your back, help you with back pains, joint pains, if you have any shoulder pains or neck pains. Yes, you can go to those Theta and all these traditional massages and things like that. But the chiropractic world also is another world that can help you solve this problem. So meaning to say, let's say I'm experiencing back pain now, right? I think most of us MCO, we sit at home, we sit too much in front of our computers, we got lower back pain. I know I have lower back pain and I need to find a solution. So I go onto Google, I said, cure for lower back pain, right? And if this client of mine is doing Google ads, then chances are people will see that. And then that's what they mean by, I know what I want, okay? So I hope that sort of answers the question. And next time, if you're wondering which platform to get on first, think about this pyramid, right? If you want to take a screenshot of it, by all means, I'm more than happy to share this. So more importantly is you need to understand which stage or which group of people you want to target first, right? Are you looking to target the know what I want group, the I need to think about it group, or I didn't know I need it? Okay, so think about that, then the answers will just sort of come, right? Okay, so why Z to A? I think just now from the pyramid also, it sort of sets a precedence as to why Z to A, right? Instead of asking the questions like, which campaign should I do? How much money should I spend? Should I do Facebook? Should I do Google? Should I hire a production house to do, video ads for me and things like that? I think the very important question is, you need to ask yourself is, why are you doing what you want to do first, right? Because every time I get on a call, so every time someone pings me, right, I get PMs as well. They go like, hi, PM your package. And I'll be like, what package do you want? yes, I do Facebook ads only, but it's not a one size fit all kind of thing, right? I always ask, the first question I always ask them first, why do you want to do Facebook ads? And then most of the time the answer I get is, oh, because my competitor is doing, oh, because so-and-so is doing, oh, because I heard in a webinar, if I do Facebook ads, I get 10x my sale. Yeah, okay, not wrong, not entirely the wrong reasons to start Facebook ads, but then I will always ask them, do you then have a marketing plan? And if you have a marketing plan, how can Facebook ads help you achieve this plan? Okay, that's how I approach all my clients, and that's how I approach all my campaigns. Because if you do not have a marketing plan, running Facebook ads, right, is literally throwing money into the wind. You just throw and hopefully you hit something. All right. So that's why most important thing is set goals. Before you even start running any ads, you need to set your goals. You need to define what your marketing plan is. Okay. You have to be very specific with your plan. I mean, yeah, what is your goals? Oh, to increase sales. I mean, yes, of course, everybody wants more sales, right? But you need to be very, very specific. What do you want to market? Okay. Take road shows, for example. I guess pre-COVID, I'm sure most of you also have done certain road shows or pop-ups. When you do pop-up stalls here and there, or at a festival or something like that, you don't bring your whole outlet and your whole outfit to the festival, right? You sit down with your team, you plan, okay, guys, you're selling your food, you're selling your products, but you sort of have a marketing plan behind it as well, right? Maybe you want to sell a certain type of product more than others. It could be because it provides more margin. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Or you're trying to introduce a new product and things like that. Whatever it is, you have to have a very specific marketing plan, right? Come up with a proper plan. Once you have a plan, then you decide, okay, I'm going to run this campaign to achieve this specific plan. Now, I know all of this is still quite generic. After this, we will look at the live case study. I will put all of this into perspective, and then hopefully that will give you better clarity on what I'm actually talking about, okay? So a very good rule of thumb is one campaign, one objective. All right, one campaign, one objective. Now, I'm just going to use Burger Lab again as an example because Renee is the one that invited me. Now, I know, I don't know whether Renee, you still do it, but I know you have a birthday promotion every month. Like if you have a birthday, yeah, cool. So you still do it, right? So for example, let's say you feel that not many people are aware of this promotion, okay? So you want to promote this birthday month special, let's call it the birthday month special. So you create a campaign, you call it the birthday month special campaign. Now, then you set aside a certain amount of budget, and this campaign is solely focused on a birthday month campaign. Now, then we start asking the question, okay, how are we going to start capturing people's details, for example? Do we want to create a simple landing page where they can sign up, put in their name, their date of birth, and their email address, right? Then we can gather all this data, which can then be used as email marketing as well, right? That, of course, is a different topic altogether. Then that's where all the processes come in, okay? So that's why you see in this case, the first goal is, okay, Renee says, I want to promote my birthday special campaign, okay? And then we look at the campaigns, right? Let's set up maybe let's say a conversions campaign to a landing page where we can gather customers' data. And then from there, we can run our email campaigns reminding them that, oh, hey, it's your birthday month, come on over to Burger Lab, right? So these are the things and how we actually draft out a funnel in a sense or a campaign, okay? So I really have to reiterate that Facebook ads, right, is really just a tool, okay? It's a tool to help you achieve your marketing plans. So whatever it is, you definitely still need to have a game plan. Then, so I have some clients, after speaking to them for, I call it the 30-minute discovery call. After 30 minutes, right, they realize that actually Facebook ads is not what they need right now. Okay, because they need to probably set up their processes first. They need to come up with a marketing plan or something of that sort before they even think about running Facebook ads. Okay, what other tools? I mean, so like I said, apart from Facebook ads, of course you have Google ads, YouTube ads, right? The other way is, other ways to promote your materials is what, through your postings, through Facebook postings, through, sending messages to your friends. All these are different ways to reach out to people, right? And Facebook ads is just a tool used to reach out to the cold traffic or the masses, essentially. Okay. Yeah, that's right, Renee. It's definitely not just about uploading a photo and then press boost ad. And like Renee said, please, please, please don't ever do boost ads. I know Facebook is very, very smart. Actually, the Facebook marketing team is really genius, right? They will I know business owners, you have your pages and everything. As you scroll through your page, right, then they start telling you, oh, your post could potentially reach 100,000 people, right, with just RM5 a day. So tempting, right? But please don't be tempted to do all those things. Yeah, it's really not going to get you anything. You're going to get a lot of likes, right? A lot of comments, a lot of things I get also. People like, hey, how come foreigners like my post so much? I mean, nothing against foreigners, right? If they can buy your product, why not, right? But I think more importantly is if you're going to be spending money, of course, you want to at least get your ads in front of the right group of people, or people who are most likely to purchase from you, okay? So once we are clear on what you want to achieve, that means what your marketing plan is, now let's look at the how, all right? So a structure of a campaign, a Facebook campaign, looks something like this, right? So it comprises of 3 levels, right? You have the campaign, and then you have this thing called ad sets, okay? And then you have your ads, right? So 3 levels: campaign, ad sets, and then ads, okay? Sorry, ad sets is where you actually do all your targeting. That's where you decide who, what age you want to target. Yeah, Celine, no worries, I'm answering now, yeah? So ad sets is where you do your targeting, okay? That's where you define your audience size, you define the interests, you define their age, you define the language, okay? I will show you, like I said, I'll go through the live example. This is, take it as a theory first, huh? This is the theoretical part of things first, and then I will actually go through a live example after this, okay? So once you define your ad sets, like I said, this is your targeting and everything and all, and then after that, you move on to your ads. So this is where you actually create your ads, okay? Where you type out your ad, your copy, you put in your images, and then you put your call to action button, okay? So this is how a campaign looks like. Okay, so for those of you who have created campaigns through Business Manager yourself, this screenshot will probably be a bit familiar, yeah? You get to choose a campaign objective. Now, Facebook is very generous. They give us a lot of different objectives, but in all honesty, for me personally, I only use lead generation or conversions. I have tried, of course, I've done traffic, I've done engagement, I've done messages as well. I have nothing against them, right? But usually the clients that I work with, we have very, very specific objectives, right? Lead generation or conversions, right? I'll go through each of these, what you call it, campaigns, an objective, and how and where we can use it, okay? All right, so let's just look at the first one, traffic. So if you select traffic campaign, okay, it's optimized. What it does is it optimizes to show your ads to people who are more likely to click and reach your website, but they may not necessarily take specific actions on your site. So this is actually how advanced the Facebook algorithm is, okay? Facebook would know amongst its users who are more trigger happy. That means they see, they may not even know what it is, or they will just click. They just like to click. So Facebook will show these ads to this group of people, right? Now, when do you use traffic ads? When the click is a desired action. Okay, so sometimes it could just be, you just want to share a certain promo, for example. Or okay, not really a good example, but let's say you have a new store opening, right? You're opening up a new store in Kajang, for example, and you just want to tell people about it. You don't really want them or require them to take any specific action, but you just want to tell people about it. Use traffic ads. Okay, this is definitely still much better than Boost Posts. I would definitely not recommend to use Boost Posts at all. Yeah, so just you want people to just sort of know that, oh, that's something is happening, right? That's when you do traffic ads. Traffic ads are cheap, so for even just 100 ringgit, you can get a lot of impressions. So Facebook charges you by impressions. Impressions is just a very fancy term of people who've seen your ads lah. Okay, just a very fancy term to people seeing your ads lah. So that's why I think you've seen some of the marketers, they will sell you like, oh, we can get X amount of clicks, X amount of impressions for a very low cost. Yes, that's true, but what is your objective? If my objective is just to show these people, yeah, that's right, Renny, yeah, it does not translate to sales, okay? So it really depends on what your objective is. If my objective is just to show a certain post, an image, or it could even be an article, okay? Let's take Burger Lab, for example. Burger Lab is coming out, with a do-it-yourself homemade burger patties, for example, and they wrote a very nice article, okay? And they want to drive people to that article, which is on the website, traffic ads, okay? Because they don't really need you to sort of do anything else. They don't need you to take any action or leave any contact. They just want traffic to the site, traffic ads, okay? So that's for traffic. Now, number 2, engagement. So when you click on engagement, you get to choose 3 different items again. Post engagement, page likes, or event responses. Okay, there used to be another item, but they've removed that already. So engagement, I would say is actually the most similar to Boost Post, right? So engagement, as you can see, is optimized to show your ads to people who are likely to engage your post or page. All right. And when do you use it? You use it when you want to drive engagement on a specific post, right? Or increase page likes. Again, I feel all these actions are not wrong. They are great, and I think you should do it as well. But as Renee mentioned there as well, like, it does not translate to sales, right? Just because your page has 10,000 likes, it really doesn't mean anything. Yes, it gives brand confidence. Like, people are confident, like, oh, okay, so this page must be a reputable page. This company is a reputable company, but it will not affect your sales, right? I have some customers who only have 200 to 300 likes. 200-300 likes on their page, but they're converting 5 figures a month through lead generation, right? Okay, so Rennie asked, can we use the same post to drive traffic then drive sales? Yes and no. It really depends on the situation. Yeah, it will depend on the situation. At the end of the post, you can sort of do a simple call to action, like, follow us on Facebook, or leave your contact details, or subscribe to our newsletter. You can do that if you want to do collection. But if you are looking specifically to do lead generation, I would definitely still suggest using lead generation or conversions, right? I'll talk about that in a while. All right, so for engagement, this is what we do, right? And okay, let's look at the third one, lead generation. Lead generation is very straightforward. It collects leads directly from Facebook. So I have some clients as well who do not have a website, and they are, just sort of starting up in this whole digital space, and they don't want to invest in a website, because investing in a website, it's money lah, essentially, right? And the idea is that, oh, I want to make some first, have some money to roll before I actually start my own site, have my own landing page and things like that. So guys, hear me better now? If you can hear me better, just sort of give a thumbs up. Right, okay. All right, much better now. I stopped sharing for a while. Technology, we love them and we hate them. Much better, okay. Yep, I see a few thumbs up. Okay, I believe I stopped at lead generation. All right, okay, I'll just continue at lead generation. Cool, thanks guys, thanks for the patience. Yep. Okay, so lead generation is good when you are looking to collect leads directly on Facebook, okay? Which means you don't have a website, you don't have a landing page, then you can actually collect leads directly from Facebook, okay? And it's basically a form that appears on Facebook where you can fill in your name, your email address, and also your contact details, right? You can ask a few questions here and there, and we can sort of customize the form a bit, but it's a very quick and easy way to collect leads directly from Facebook. Now, some of you who have tried this before, you probably feel that the quality of leads are not as good. I have to say that's quite true, right? When we do lead generation or form on Facebook, it's a numbers game. You just really have to go by the numbers, okay? Because I have clients who have a landing page, and I have clients who don't have landing page, meaning to say that they actually use a form on Facebook. And what happens is that when we compare the quality, those who end on a landing page have a better intention to purchase, okay? Because you sort of make it a little bit difficult for people. A landing page. So a landing page, if you're not familiar, it's basically like a website, but it's much simpler, right? It's very straightforward. Imagine it as a online flyer. Okay, it's an online flyer, whereas a website is like your entire credentials, right? Your entire company credentials, about us, what we do, your products, etc. Landing page is a very specific flyer when you try to sell a very specific service or product. Okay, so yes, landing pages and conversions will definitely gain you slightly better quality leads as compared to lead generation, but I wouldn't discredit lead generation altogether, because my clients still convert anyways, right? Okay, so Sasha is asking whether people actually submit. Yes, people actually submit. I know I've heard before this one conspiracy theory where Facebook actually sends you the lead so that your campaign doesn't look too bad. But no, lead generation actually requires people to click on your ad and then sort of fill in the form. I know their name, email address, and their phone number will be auto-populated, right? Because when you register for a Facebook profile, you need your name, you need an email address, and you need to fill in your mobile number as well. So usually what I do with my clients is we usually ask 1 or 2 questions, like a very frequently asked question. I mean, of course, again, lead generation is more towards service-based clients, right? Like the chiropractic client. I help a network marketer as well, MLM, recruit agents through Facebook forms as well. So she always asks 1 or 2 questions when she gets on a call with them. So instead of asking them on a call, we ask them in a form instead. So we sort of have to get them to work a bit, either fill in a detail or 2. And that will deter those trigger happy guys who just simply want to click submit. Yeah. So you sort of have to have a bit strong, then you will compromise a bit on the numbers, right? You may not get as many entries, but you will get slightly better quality entries. So again, there's a lot of trial error. Like I said, it's a really a number game when it comes to Facebook ads. And you just have to balance this out. With the MLM client, what happened was for the first 4 months, we actually did just lead gen 3 questions: name, mobile number, and email address. We got a lot of leads. Her conversion is not too bad. It's about 5% conversion from whatever leads she gets. Because 5%, and because her product is quite high value. It goes between 400 to 500, all the way up to 2,000 ringgit. So let's say she gets 100 people and 5% only signs up with her. She makes back all her money already and goes into the profit, in fact, also. So that's why for her business model, it works. That's why what it means by testing is you have to really see whether it works for your business or not to run all these ads and lead generation as well. Okay, so that's lead gen. And messages. Okay, messages is Facebook Messenger ads, right? I'm not sure if you've seen this before. Sometimes when you click send message and then it appears, Facebook Messenger will appear, and then an automated chat can come up, like, oh, what you want, and all these things and all. I rarely run Messenger ads not because I have anything against it, but my clients just don't really need to use Messenger ads, essentially. Because if you want to do lead generation, we do lead generation or we do conversions, where we send them to a landing page and then they fill in their details, right? Never really use Messenger ads, essentially. But you can try. Essentially, it's for lead generation as well. And lead generation or messages ads, you can pre-qualify your prospects more, because you can ask a series of questions, right? And it gives a fixed kind of response from there, okay? And then last but not least, the one I'm going to cover is called conversions, right? So conversions is where you show your ads to people most likely to take valuable actions, like making a purchase or providing information on your website or landing page. Now, this description is not by me. This description is Facebook's specific description. This is how Facebook describes conversions, okay? So I think what's important is that it shows people who will likely take valuable actions. Again, like I said, the AI and the algorithm is actually very, very smart, okay? It knows who amongst their user database that have maybe made a certain purchase, sign up for a certain package or course or whatever it is. Yes, you have to trust the AI. I know a lot of people bash all these Facebook and things like that and all, but actually the Facebook AI is very, very smart, to be honest. Okay, so always look at conversions. The cost to run conversions is a bit higher. Higher meaning like the cost per click, the link clicks is a bit higher. But all those, I mean, yeah, it's important to look at. It's important to look at all these costs per click and all. But in the grander scheme of things, I mean, if you're selling a product, okay, let's say your product is 100 ringgit, right? And you run conversion ads. Yes, your cost per click is higher, but if you're making the sales enough to cover your costs, then I don't see what's the problem, you see. Because some marketers, they'll say like, oh, conversions is very expensive, don't run conversions, run traffic campaigns instead. Yes, okay, that's not wrong. You can run traffic campaigns, but what is your objective? What is your goal? If you want to run traffic campaigns and expect sales to be high, then sorry to say, I think your expectations are not going to be met, right? Of course, people may still buy from a traffic campaign. You can run traffic campaigns, right? Yeah, that's right, Daniel. Conversions higher quality than traffic, definitely, right? And I'm not saying that people won't buy. Of course, people will buy. Let's say you run a traffic ad to your e-commerce store, for example, right? People land onto your store. Yes, of course, 1 or 2% will buy, but is it the intention, or is it by coincidence they buy? Because when we market something, we want people to take intentional actions, right? We want them to intentionally make a purchase. We don't want them to like, oh, coincidence, I can just buy. Oh, let me just buy. All right, so Edmund's asking, how do you trust the AI, right? Does that mean to let the AI choose a target? All right, so I will show you the targeting in the next, okay. So I will go into the case study already, and I'll talk about the targeting and what do I mean by trusting the AI, okay? Of course, there's to a certain extent, we trust the AI also, right? So looking at this case study now, right, it's a frozen food company, right? And we're actually running a conversions campaign. I've already gotten permission from my client to share with you the live, what you call that, control panel, if you must, right, of the business manager. So we'll be looking exactly the targeting that I'm using and how I actually structure my campaign. Okay, Sasha, I'll answer that question at the end of the session, right? The whole drama with the iOS thing and how that will affect us, okay? So let's get into this case study right now. The client actually sells halal frozen dim sum. Okay, and then they actually have their own e-commerce platform. So they're not selling on a marketplace, they actually have their own e-commerce platform. They have done ads before, but didn't really know. So it actually made sales. The ads actually made sales, right? But it was like the stock market lah. Suddenly good, suddenly bad, suddenly good, suddenly bad. A bit roller coaster. So very scared. Okay. So the objective is to drive sales, right, to the e-commerce platform, and the budget they provided was 900 ringgit. Okay. So my plan was to run 2 ad sets with a budget. Sorry, it's actually 40 ringgit a day. I thought I've changed it, but I didn't save it, I guess. So it's run 2 ad sets with a budget of 40 ringgit a day. Okay. So let me show you the setup of the campaign first before we actually look at the actual campaign. Okay. So we had the campaign. I created 2 ad sets and then actually 5 ads. I'll show you later. So what I mean by 40 ringgit a day means you spend 20 ringgit on each ad set. Okay. That's how I actually start small. So when Rennie was mentioning just now how you actually start small, how do you invest a small amount of money, this is how we do it. 20 ringgit per ad set for 2 ad sets. So that gives you 40 ringgit a day. Now 40 ringgit a day, if you run it for 30 days, that equates to 1,200 ringgit a month. If you feel 1,200 a month is too much money for you to put out, you can start with 20 ringgit a day. Okay, 20 ringgit a day would just mean that you run 1 ad set only. I know some marketers say that you can even start at 5 ringgit a day, 10 ringgit a day, or even 15 ringgit a day. Honestly, I think 20 ringgit is the bare minimum, because anything less than that, it's going to be very slow and very hard for you to gain any sort of traction and then come to any sort of conclusive answer, whether it works or it doesn't work, right? 15 ringgit still can lah. The lowest I will go is 15, right? But I won't go anything lower than 15. Okay, we have a question. Daily budget versus lifetime budget. If you're starting out and you're not sure what you're doing, go with daily budget first. Okay, start with a daily budget. I run ads for this other company and they spend close to anywhere between 3,000 to 4,000 every day. Their ad spend per month is 50,000 a month. So what we do is, even with them, we test out different type of budgeting. We test out ABO, which is ad set budget, which is your daily budget. We test out CBO, campaign budget optimization. We test out lifetime budget as well. So because they have the money, right? So we just test all the different type of budgeting. I would say just stick with daily budget first. Don't go for the lifetime budget if you're not too sure what you're doing yet. There is a difference. It really just how you are sort of forcing the AI to run the ads for you. Okay, so it's daily budget 20 ringgit a day means, right, you're forcing the AI to spend that 20 ringgit in one day. Now, the AI or Facebook itself won't spend precisely 20 ringgit on the dot lah. Some days it will be 1988. Some days will be 21 ringgit, you know, but along the lines of that lah, they will just set that one, you know, on 20 ringgit a day. Okay. All right. So I'm going to switch over to the business manager now. Okay. Can y'all see can you see the business manager? If you can see the business manager, just give me a thumbs up, you know, so at least I know all of us are on the same page. Okay. Yes, Daniel can see. All right. Cool. Got a few thumbs up. Okay. That's great. Oh, Sasha cannot see. I don't know what to do some more, but I guess most of you can see. Christopher, yes, I do social media advertising. Specifically, my specialty is in Facebook and Instagram ads, right? Oh, is it too small? Do you mean it's too small, is it? Hang on. Oh, okay, cool. All right, cool, sorry. Okay, so I'll get into it. Sorry. Okay, so the client name is actually Dah Dim Sum, right? And as you can see, these three ad sets, these three campaigns here have been turned off. So these were their previous campaigns, right? What else can I show you here? Okay, so on a campaign level, I started this campaign on 22nd of June, 22nd of Jan. We've spent a total of 320 ringgit and 15 cents so far. Let me just refresh this for you. Okay, as you can see, there has been 49 purchases, right? Our return on ad spend is 17.28. Okay, what does return on ad spend or ROAS mean is that for every 1 ringgit you put into advertising, you get 17 ringgit in sales. This is sales, not profit. That means sales made. Okay. So as you can see here, cost per purchase is 6 ringgit 56 cents, and then our conversion value is 5,000. That means so far from 22nd January until today, which is give or take about 8 to 9 days, we've made sales of about 5,560 ringgit. Okay, so bear with me as I'll go into each detail. So this is the campaign. If you're familiar with Facebook ads, this is what you see. All right, so you have your campaign name here. All these things all don't have to touch. The one thing that I do is campaign spending limit. This is how I sort of automate my process, because I manage anywhere between 4 to 5 clients, right? And of course, I cannot remember all their ad budgets every time, you see. So the moment I have an advertising budget, then I set a limit here, right? So 900 ringgit, I set 900 ringgit. What happens is when Facebook spends up to 900 ringgit, it stops, right? It will just stop spending from there, okay? All right, so this is where campaign budget optimization is. If you're just starting out, right? If you're new to Facebook ads, I would suggest you don't use campaign budget optimization first, okay? Campaign budget optimization, like I said, among all my clients, only the big client, the one that's spending a lot, only we do that, because what happens is that we test out a few copies and a few creatives. That means whether it's images or videos. We run that for about 2 weeks or just 1 week because they spend a lot a day. We find the top 5 or top 3 performing ads, right? Then we create a new campaign. We turn on campaign budget optimization. Then we just sort of spam those ads, essentially, right? Then we put like 500 ringgit a day, you know, because we know that these 3 to 5 ads are the top winning ones, right? The ones that got us the most leads or the one that got us the most purchases, okay? And then we just turn on campaign budget optimization. Okay, Christopher, yeah, 17 is quite high. It's actually quite good. But I mean, to be honest, this has only been 8 days, right? Usually I run it for 30 days, or in this case, until the budget runs out. The level will normalize, okay? The value will normalize. 17, 18, 19, 20, actually, to be honest, is nothing too exciting. It looks nice, wow, you know, makes me feel good and all. But at the end of the day, based on the sales that we made, right, 5,000 ringgit, for example, whatever it is, I will go back to my client, we will sit down, and then we will talk to them and ask them, okay, what is your profit? Do you actually make profit from these ads or not, essentially? Because in my early days when I first started, I actually worked together with this fruit farm, and their average checkout per basket was only about 50 ringgit. And then the ROAS was actually 2.5 or 3, meaning to say for every 1 ringgit spent on ads, you get 3 ringgit in sales. Actually, it's quite decent. It's not too bad. It's not great, but it's not too bad as well. But then when we look at the back end and things like that, right, they are just barely making a profit, right? So then we realize, okay, essentially they do not have a marketing problem, right? They actually have a product problem, essentially. We need to increase the checkout basket, right? Yeah, we need to, 50 ringgit per checkout is just not enough. We need to get them to buy more things, right? But unfortunately, they only sold one particular type of fruit at that time. Since now I know that they've already moved into many other products as well. They've created more packages, because the fruit is dragon fruit, right? So I mean, how much 1 kilo of dragon fruit is a lot for a family of 4, right? And I think 1 kilo at a time, if I'm not mistaken, I may be wrong on this, I can't remember precisely, will cost about 50 ringgit or so. So there's only that much dragon fruit you can buy, you see, right? So how can you then improve your sales? So all these things is what we meant by testing and then finding out whether Facebook ads is suitable for you or not. Okay, so this is the campaign level, all right? As you can see up here, this is the campaign level. Now I will jump into the ad sets, right? The ad sets level, okay? This is where we're going to start looking at the targeting, okay? So as you can see, I have 2 ad sets here running. Budget at 20 ringgit a day, tells me about the amount spent. So you see from the amount spent here, I can roughly gauge that it's been about 8 days, plus or minus 8 days, right? All these parameters are good. It gives me an indication of what's happening, right? Impressions, great, fine and dandy. Link clicks are important for me. It gives me an indication on whether my ads are actually performing. That means whether people are actually clicking on my ads or not. Okay. Cost per link click, fine. Click-through rate. Now, click-through rate is very important, actually, if you ask me. This is one parameter that you have to take close attention. Okay, so Edmund, the ROS benchmark really depends on your business. It really, really depends on your business. I know some businesses who have only an ROS of 4, but they're making a lot of profit, because I don't know what your margins are like for your products, okay? So even for now, 17, yeah, wow, it sounds really amazing and everything, but I will have to wait for it to normalize, right? Normalize meaning that it will average out after 30 days or so, since at 900. It will be slightly less than 30 days, but once it averages out, then I will have to sit with my client, then I'll discuss with them and see how the sales was and how is the margin like, right? And then we will look at it. So in terms of the benchmarking, I really can't give you a definite answer. But what I can say is anything above 2, to be honest, is quite good really. Because 2 itself also is almost cutting it really. Imagine if you think about it, for every 1 ringgit you spend, you're only making 2 ringgit in sales. And I don't know how much your cost of your product is and everything and all. At 2 also, I think you're almost barely breaking even really. Okay, so anything less than 2, I think suffice to say is actually a loss of money really, because you have to cover, if you're running these yourself, okay, if you're hiring somebody like me or third party, you probably have the cost of that marketer as well also. Yes, yeah, Samuel. It really depends, because like I said, I think for each of you, you have very different margins. Although it's relatively industry standard, but you really have to test it out and see whether it's worth running it. And then if it's not, if you're still below cost, then you have to study on your checkout. Like I said, per checkout, how much is your checkout value? Like the previous client, it was only 50 ringgit. And then looking through their products, looking through their offering, we realized that 50 ringgit is too low. How can we then improve the checkout per cart, right? So for these guys, okay, I won't get ahead of myself. I'll look at that on the later level. Let me just show you the targeting first. Okay, let's take one. Let's see which one is performing. Okay, let's take this one. This one is performing slightly better. There has been 27 purchases from this. Okay, so we'll look at this ad set. Okay, so this is how the ad set looks like. I will share with you on how I name my ad sets as well, so that it's easy for me to identify what I have set inside there. Okay, Of course, for this client, there's only 2 ad sets. For some other clients, like even my chiropractic client, we run on 6 ad sets now, right? 6 different ad sets. So it can, can be a bit overwhelming sometimes. Sometimes I forget, like, okay, which is what. So the naming convention is very, very important as well. Okay. So as you can see, oh yeah, by the way, if you're going to set up conversions, make sure you have Pixel installed. Okay. You need to have Facebook Pixel, right? If not, means you cannot run conversions. Okay. So in this case, our conversion event is purchase, right? Because we want to track how much purchases has been made. So you set your daily budget here at 20 ringgit. This is just an estimate. Don't be put off by it. Well, before I started this, you see now they say here, oh, less than 10 conversions, here 3 purchases and everything at 20 ringgit, right? Before I started this, when I first started the campaign, it actually shows me 0. And then you'll come out warning here, oh, your budget may not be enough. What is ad sets, the target? Yes. So if you remember the structure, sorry, I'm going to just jump back to the slides again. Okay. If you can see the slides, just give me a thumbs up so that I know you are looking at the slides as well. Okay, so we were at the campaign level. Now, once you've created your campaign, okay, you create ad sets. All right. So Christopher, I hope that answers your question, right? You start at the top by creating a campaign first, and then once you're in the campaign, you create an ad set. Okay. So we are looking at this level now, the ad set. Okay. All right, cool. So like I said, before I started, it says 0, and then Facebook will sort of give you an advice saying that, oh, you don't have enough spending, or your campaign may not get enough traction and things like that and all. Don't believe them first, okay? Like I said, this one started at 0, then now becomes 3. They can only do an estimate once the pixel has data. So chances are, why they don't show data is because your pixel is not even activated yet, or does not even have enough data. All right. So start date, don't bother. End date, if you want, you can actually set an end date. Now this is where the exciting part comes in, right? So under create new audience, you got your locations here. Okay, when it comes to location, right? So this is really the secret sauce already, right? I can tell you a lot of marketers wouldn't want to share this with anybody as well. But honestly, I feel that with education, my job becomes easier, right? That's one of the reasons why I agree to sharing this as well. Because Randy asked me to share enough so that you can actually run ads, and I actually don't mind doing that. Okay, because once you understand in a way how difficult it is to do things, then maybe our job is a bit more appreciated in a sense, lah. All right. So if you want to do this yourself, you can copy exactly what I'm doing here. Location, choose people living in this location. All right. There's many things here you can choose recently, all these things, all don't bother. Just go with people living in this location. Okay. When it comes to the location that you're going to choose, it really depends on your offering, right? In this case, because it's frozen food, is packaged, we can send it to anywhere within the Klang Valley. So I choose Selangor and KL. All right. This client of mine, they don't offer, they don't offer interstate delivery yet because it's frozen food. So they need to partner with the right logistic partners first before they can do that. So for this, we're only targeting Selangor and KL. Okay. When it comes to location, right, try to not make it too complicated. All right. So let's say if you want to target 2 states, fine. Pick Johor as 1 state only. Okay. And Penang, that's it. Try not to do more than that. Okay. So for each ad set, ideally try to target only 1 location. Selangor and KL technically is the same place, but when you put Selangor and KL as 2 different places, because Facebook takes it at 2 different places, even though geographically we are just 1 place. Okay. So if you want to sell something in Johor, create another ad set and then target Johor specifically. Okay. Don't put too many locations within 1 ad set, because then you sort of dilute things already. Okay. Age, I will tell you how I set the age later. You can do the gender, and then this is where you do your detailed targeting. Okay. Now, you can take this targeting if you want to try, but like I said, it's just sort of I try to narrow down the circle for Facebook. Okay. In this case, you can see I target engaged shoppers, dim sum, of course, people who are interested in dim sum, halal, because it's halal dim sum, right? And then I narrow it down as well with narrow further. okay, to cooking at home and cooking. Now, you don't have to do this, right? It's really just because I'm testing two different ad sets, okay? Ultimately, what I want to do is, I want my potential reach, to be 1.2 million. So the reach that I always go for is anywhere between 200,000 to 1.1. Okay, 1.2 still okay, right? 200 to 1.2 million, that's it. Don't get anything less, don't get anything more at a 20 ringgit budget. Reason being is that Facebook targeting, right, it works under subsets, So you're targeting a group within a group within a group. Okay, if your subset if your audience size is too small, you end up not delivering the ads enough to people. If it's too large, then your message sort of gets diluted in the market. Okay, there are some marketers who live and die by this narrow further. If you remember last time we do, Venn diagrams where you have one circle, and one circle, and then you sort of target the people in the middle. Of course, I do. This is what I'm doing in this ad set specifically. I'll show you the other ad set as well, where I don't do it. So there is no definite right or wrong in this case. That's where the whole testing comes, and that's where the whole trust the AI comes. Okay. You put this amount of targetings inside, you let it run for a few days, and then see how the reaction is. Okay. Again, like I said, there's no right or wrong answer. This is where the budgeting and the testing comes into place. So for this particular ad set, I wanted to try a more narrow targeting. That's why I targeted this way. All right. Okay, this detailed targeting expansion, right? I usually don't check it. But again, in the name of testing, I decided to check it for this particular ad set. I will show you the other ad set as well. You can see it's apps very, very different altogether. But you see, like this ad set, it works. So I'm just going to let it run, right? I'm not going to touch it anymore. Now, if you copy, let's say, interest for interest and exactly the same structure, will it work for you? I don't know. I really don't know. Okay. Facebook targeting, right, is like a Pandora's box. You never know what you're going to get, right? This may work for the next 2 months, for instance, right? This particular targeting. And then for some reason, in the third month, right, it just doesn't work. It will happen. What happens? Then you just have to keep moving, putting in new targets, putting in new interests, right? Find new ad sets, find new locations, find new, age groups and things like that and all, right? So that's what it means by you need to test. So even when we say test also, you need to know what you're testing, right, in a sense. And that's why people choose to hire us or why people choose to work with us, you see, right? Because we know how to structure things and we know what we're going to test for, okay? And then, of course, at the end, choose your language, right? Now, this case is we are targeting the Malay segment, right? And specifically the middle to upper income Malay segments, right? So I wrote the ads for this as well. And the ads are actually, even then also I test a few. One specifically in Bahasa, that means the whole ad is 100% Bahasa. Then some ads we did 100% English, right? And some ads we did a bit of mix, like Manglish, Bahasa and English sort of mixing together, just to see how people react to the ads. Okay, I will share with you the winning ad later as well. All right. Then you go down to placements. Now under placements, by default is always under automatic placements. Okay. This is sort of a personal thing, and it's just to save a few more cents, because you see, ultimately for me, right, I am first a business owner, then a digital marketer, right? When I run my family business, right, because we are a family business, every cent, every dollar counts, right? We need to make, my dad taught me this, right? We have to make every ringgit count. You really have to stretch the dollar. So when it comes to placements as well, I will turn off audience network, because if it's just going to save me just that 20, 30 cents also, right, I'm happy. I will take it. All right, that's me. I'm willing to take it, right? Now, what is audience network? Audience network, right? Sometimes when you're scrolling through, I don't know, the Star Online, or Vulcan Post or things like that on their webpage, right? Sometimes you see those ads, along the sides of the panel, or something will appear in the middle and all. That's what audience network is, right? Audience network, right? They will place your ads there. Reason why I turn it off is that, if somebody is going to be reading about an article on, I don't know, COVID-19, right? And then suddenly my Burger Lab ad appears, I don't think they're going to be wanting to read COVID-19 cases, fight on, Burger Lab, I'm going to click buy burger. I don't think they're going to be wanting to do that, right? So that's the reason why I don't bother, advertising on audience network. one is also just to save me that few cents or few ringgit, whatever it is. Two, I feel the intention to buy when you're reading a certain article is even lesser, right? I can only imagine if you're reading something that's a bit gorier, I don't know, a crime or something like that, and then Burger Lab ad appears. Get the Ultraman now. I don't know how that will work. People probably wouldn't be in a buying mood in that sense, right? Okay, so that's about it for this part. All these kind of things I actually don't touch at all. I leave it be, right? So this is essentially the bread and butter, or the meat, the real meat of it. Sorry, not bread and butter, the meat and potatoes of the entire campaign, right? The whole targeting section of things. Now, oh, sorry, I was supposed to hang on. Sorry. Let me just share with you the other ad set as well, so you have an idea on how I target two different groups. Okay, so as you can see, still very much similar, 20 ringgit a day. There you go, see? You see this notification, ad set, make it 0 purchases, right? Use landing page views instead. But this ad set has made me 2,000 ringgit. Okay, so take it with a pinch of salt, right? But ultimately just run it and test it first, then see how it goes. So in this case, same thing, I target both Kuala Lumpur and Selangor as well. The age group is a bit different, right? 35 to 50. And as you can see, no narrow audience, no detailed targeting expansion. Over here, I target a behavior, people who prefer high-level goods and mid and high-level value goods, okay? And then engage shoppers as well, dim sum and halal, right? My potential reach 1,100 people. Okay, this ad set is not bad. It's doing quite well as well. I believe just now, I think it was 22 purchases or 20. It's just slightly lower than the other ad set, right? But this is what I mean by actually testing out the targetings, having two different types of ad sets, right? Yes, I know this is dim sum and halal as well. You have similar interests in both ends, but I try to get it as far apart as possible. But again, it's really just down to testing, right? And if it works, it works. Don't disturb it. So let's look at the ad level now, right? This is the ad level. Okay, as you can see, I have here 9 ads. Okay, 9 ads. Each time, I will make sure I run at least 3 to 5 ads. Okay, I will put in 3 to 5 ads. Let me just sort this by purchase. So the best performing ad has been this one. Okay, it has raked in at least 1,000 ringgit, 1,600 ringgit already. Okay, this, let me just see whether you can make sense of this. Okay, if you notice, I label that as ad 1, 2, 2A3, 3A4, right? 5, 6, and all. Ad 1, 2 is 2 different copies, 2 different images. Okay, when I do 2A, it means that it's the same copy as ad 2, but I want to try a different image. This is my thought process, and this is how I actually run my ads. Okay, so I'm really sharing everything here. This is not some sort of masterclass that I'm going to have some upsell after this. Nothing. This is exactly it. Really, there's nothing. I'm not even hiding anything anymore. This is exactly, yes, it's something like A/B testing, right? But if you notice, I actually don't use the A/B test function at all because my budgets are still quite low, right? And I mean 20 ringgit, and I'm only running 2 ad sets anyways. So you don't really need to use the A/B test function yet, because when you do A/B test function, right, you can actually break down the budget even further. So for example, if this budget was, let's say, 100 ringgit instead, right, and you do A/B test, right, you can actually split it 50-50 and see how it works, okay? But again, if you're starting out, don't be too bothered with all these, bells and whistles and everything else there. Just keep it simple, keep it straightforward, right? Get some results first, familiarize yourself with the whole business manager and the whole campaign flow, then only start testing out the different things, right? So yeah, this is essentially how I do A/B testing. Then as you can see, 3A, these ones have no results because I literally just dropped these ads in this morning. Okay, I just dropped these ads in this morning. If you can see this one small template here, right? All these are product pictures, and then I'm testing one just generic stock image, just to see how people react, right? It may not perform, it may perform, I don't know. So this is how I test, all right? So let me share with you the ad. So this ad, across both ad sets, ad number 1 called Bosan, across both ad sets is actually the best performing ad. And just a rule of thumb, when you write your, while it's loading anyways, when you write your ad copy, your primary text, your headline, everything, write it outside, right? Write it in a Word document, write it in Notepad. Don't bother writing it on Business Manager because it's really slow, it's really laggy, right? It's going to take forever. Okay, so Facebook posts with comments. Yeah, the Malay picture for the win. Yeah, Facebook Business Manager is absolutely laggy. It's really, really very laggy, right? So do all the copywritings, select all your images away from Business Manager first, and then just go in and do it up. All right, cool. So this is the ad that has done the best, right? This is the copy that I wrote. Okay, another question is, I get asked a lot, should I write long form or short form copy? Test it out. Okay, don't be afraid to write long copies. Okay, this is what I call short form, right? It's relatively short, relatively straightforward. Some of my ads I write a bit longer, anywhere between 300 words to even 500 words as well. You know, put in a bit of a story kind of thing like that, and see how people react to it. Because don't be afraid to write long form. Okay, don't think, oh, my clients are not going to read and all. You will never know. You will never know, right? So this is the winning copy. A very clear call to action, right? The image, right? It has one thing I have to emphasize is, because I think all, if not most of you are actually business restaurateurs, right? Make sure you have a good product image, right? Because a good product image will make a lot of difference. A lot of difference, okay? You can shoot it on your iPhone, but just make sure that it's a good product image, because without a good product image, right, no matter how much, what targeting you use, what copy you write, nobody can help you also, right? The product image is very, very important, okay? Yeah, this is the one. So shop now, that's the call to action. So yeah, that's essentially the ad, the winning ad, okay? And that's all I have to share in terms of this Business Manager end of things, okay? I will just leave this here first. I just have one more slide to go through. Then after that, we can go into questions. Okay, let me just jump back to the PowerPoint. Okay, I call it the 5 commandments of Facebook ads. So everybody's looking at the PowerPoint, yeah? If you can see the PowerPoint, just give me a thumbs up so at least I know that all of us are on the same page. All right, cool. See quite a few thumbs up. So I call it the 5 commandments of Facebook ads, yeah? The first commandment, don't disturb the ad set when it's already running, okay? This will disrupt the learning process. There really is a learning process, okay? Don't go and itchy hand, want to change this, change that again. Don't touch it. Once you are set, you're confirmed, click publish, let it be. Okay. If you still want to tweak it, okay, within the first 2-3 ringgit of spend, you can still tweak it. Like now we spent close to 160 ringgit on the ad set A, right? Don't bother touching it already. Okay. Second commandment, let each ad set run for about 60 to 80 ringgit. That's about 3 to 4 days. Okay. Give it a chance, right? 3 to 4 days before deciding to turn off and test a new ad set. Okay. Now, these are the rules that I use and implement for each and every one of my clients. Okay. I would actually allow it 60 to 80 ringgit. Sometimes I even let it go to 90 to 100 first. It really depends. It really depends on the results, right? Like for the lead generation that I did earlier, that I'm doing for my chiropractic client, the cost per lead now is hovering anywhere between 3 to 4 ringgit only, which is really good. When I started the campaign, it was actually 13, 14 ringgit. The first 2 months was 13, 14 ringgit. Then we found the right copy, we found the right creative, which is a video. We found the right ads, then we just scale up. The moment we scale up from 13 ringgit cost per lead, now it's all the way down to 4 ringgit cost per lead, right? And some ad sets when I test, right, sometimes the cost per lead is very high, 12, 13, 14, 15, but I still give it time, right? I give it about 80 to 100 ringgit before I decide that, okay, this guy is just not performing AD. You know, I'm just going to kill it, run a new ad set, okay? Number 3, let the numbers do the talking. All right. What I mean by let the numbers do the talking is that don't be so excited. Don't let emotion, govern your decisions. I think it's very much like those of you who actually invest in stocks and share markets, right? Read the numbers, okay? Some days, right? Some days you'll get absolutely zero sales, right? Don't go and turn off immediately, right? If the overall campaign or the overall asset is still performing, just let it be first, right? Let the numbers do the talking. One day, no sales, no leads. Okay, chill first. If the overall ad set is still working fine, let it be, right? Maybe Facebook is relearning. Maybe Facebook is just trying to reach out to target other people as well. Okay, give it 1 or 2 days. For me, if the ad set is running 0, that means like no results at all for 3 consecutive days, then I will just put it to rest lah. Okay, but again, like I said, look at the overall numbers. Don't just go onto the micro level, right? Look at the overall numbers. Number 4, don't ever do boost posts, okay? No matter how tempting, how easy it is to do, don't ever do boost posts. Better you save the money, belanja mi makan lah, okay? All right, or buy something nice for your family, all right? And number 5, don't forget rule number 1, okay? Don't ever forget rule number 1. I've came across this business before. What they did, right? They were like, my clients at night sleep already lah. So I take at night, I turn off the asset lah. If not rugi lah, I run. Don't ever do that, okay? Please don't ever do that. Just let Facebook do its work. This is the part of trusting the AI, okay? Just let Facebook do its work. You've done your work. You've put in your copy. You've put in your creatives, your image, your video, whatever it is. You've done your targeting, all right? You study the numbers. Make sure you're getting the results. Make sure you're getting the click-throughs, okay? Then just leave it. Let Facebook do its work. Because I can tell you there was once, for at least 3/4 of the day, that means until 5 p.m., my lead gen ad only spent 8 ringgit of 20 ringgit at 5 p.m. And I only had 3 leads. I was like, halamak, already 5 p.m., only 3 leads, eh? But again, I didn't disturb the asset. I let the numbers do the talking. I trusted the AI. I left it. Next day when I checked, from 3 leads, right? Eventually that ad set gathered 15 leads for that day. 15, right? So I can only assume that Facebook knew my potential customers will be more active at night. That's why they only spent 8 ringgit up to 5 p.m. So anywhere between 5 p.m. to let's say 10 to 12 a.m., right? They did the rest 12 ringgit spending there, you see. Okay, so that's what it means by trusting the AI. But of course, you need to know what you're doing. Make sure you set everything in place first before you trust the AI, okay? All right, so this is the client of mine who's the chiropractor, just to share with you, right? As you can see here, it was from August, and well, now latest one is February, right? And if you look at the chart, if you look at this chart, right, well, I think your heart will jump up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, yeah? See, when we start in the early days of the campaign in August, okay, look at the cost per lead. This was almost 14, 15 ringgit, okay? Wow, very low, nothing exciting. And then, you see, it took us 2 months, almost 2 months of testing. Okay, August, September. Towards the end of September, see, down here actually hit 0 already. Then we put in a copy, we put in the creative, boom, suddenly the leads went crazy. Okay, August, September, we were still on 40 ringgit a day only. All right, and then over here you can see, oh, it started going up already, beautiful. But you see, even when we were doing well, you see over here such a high peak, then drop. One day damn good, suddenly damn bad, then good, damn bad, then good, damn bad. Oh, I tell you, very kanchong. So that's why I said, let the numbers do the talking, okay? Don't panic. Look at the overall ad set. Make sure your overall ad set is performing. Then you're good to go. And most importantly is, right, outside of ads, if you're doing lead gen, how is your follow-up? Are you closing the sales? If your sales and everything is closing, and your cost per lead is 15 ringgit also, I don't see anything wrong with it. My chiropractic clients, their per package ranges anywhere between 900 to 1,008. Cost per lead 15 ringgit means it costs them 15 ringgit to get 1 new client. And then they sell a package for 1,008. I think that's a pretty good deal, right? Of course, then my job in the long run is to at least to help them bring down the cost per lead, right? Then they can get more profit. So we ran this, you see, September, October, November, December. And then from here, bada boom, big drop. Why? Because there got exciting things happening on the other side of the world, right? oh, those were very tough months, right? In fact, some of the marketers I knew, even from November onwards, they started crashing already. A lot of things were crashing already. So even for this client of mine, we experienced it as well. Such a sharp dive, This is close to 40 leads a day. 40 leads a day down to just 5. Oh, that was quite tough times. But you see, again, I didn't disturb the ad sets, right? I kill off the losing ad sets. I put in new winning ad sets, right? Trust the numbers, and then it went back up again. Okay, went back up again. Then you see now going down again. This is Facebook ads. Okay, so if you're going to look at the chart every day, up and up, up and up, down, I think our lives will be shorter, right? So let it be. Make sure the end-to-end system is fine. Make sure you're delivering your products. Make sure you're still making the sales. If your profit is good, then there's no reason why you should kill off any of the ads, lah. All right. Okay, so I basically reached the end of my presentation. I'm just going to leave this slide here. Yeah, Rennie, exactly. So that's why I don't buy into Bitcoin and all these crypto, lah. My heart cannot take it, lah. All right. So, anyways, I'm going to leave this slide here, right? And I noticed there are quite a few questions there. I will answer the questions now. When you can customize your questions. You can customize your columns, right? Sorry, you can customize your columns in your business manager. These are the exact columns that I use, all right? The reason why I pick these columns is because, well, it gives me all the results clearly and very precisely, right? In a very concise manner. Okay, so I'll leave this slide on. You can copy this, screenshot it, whatever you need to. Customize your columns to this. Try not to use their preset columns because their preset columns are not very specific. And sometimes you don't even know what it means also. Even sometimes I don't even know what it means as well, all right? So, should I just jump into the question, Rennie and Daniel, or you guys want to share anything?
Thank you very much. We'll just basically sort the question by upvotes, if that's okay with you. Then you can just go through one by one.
Cool.
Okay, then I will just remove it. Okay.
Yep. Okay. All right. So, how do I look at this? Upvotes. Okay. Sort by upvotes. All right. Cool. So I have a question here. Can a hotel target to sell in IG or FB through ads? I see more and more hotels use FB ads for facility. Yes, you can. All right. But ultimately, you need to ask, the bigger question is, what do you want to sell? Okay. If you want to sell a package, do you have an e-commerce platform or your website that you can sell a certain package, 3-day, 2-night stay package or whatever it is? Or do you want to do more active selling where you do lead generation? All right. Where you sort of gather leads, okay? You gather the leads, and then you have a sales team that calls people up, and then you make an offering, right? So again, back to the goal and the objective, right? From the Z. Start with the Z first. What is your objective? What do you want to sell? And then work your way backwards, right? So, but yes, you can definitely sell because I think I see even Club Med and everything also, they do sell online, all right? Okay, I'm looking through this. Okay, I got this question. The drama with iOS, would that lead to an increase in the cost of conversions? Okay, the drama with iOS and what it is actually is, I think most of you are aware that Apple is putting on a very, like a blocker, essentially. So that will not allow us advertisers to track any conversions or even send our advertisements to people who have iOS 14.4, if I'm not mistaken. But even then, the iOS user will have to manually block or reject Like, how when you're done a website, do you accept this cookie and things like that and all? The user will have to then choose to accept or don't accept So if the user, not so saying one, they just go on with it, then we'll be safe To be honest, I don't know whether it will affect it or not. We will really just have to go through it and see how it goes, to be honest I know it's not a very comforting answer, but yeah, I really cannot give you a definite answer on that yet. The one thing we are prepared for is that it will affect our reporting. It will definitely affect our reporting, right? So let's see how that goes. Okay, so now I have another question here from observation. Some ads have good ROAS, but the CTR, which is the click-through rate percentage, is pretty low, and some otherwise. Safer to refer to ROAS? Yes. Actually, it's safer to just refer to your sales okay? But usually if your ROAS is good, then your CTR should be good as well. Because CTR means click-through rate, right? Which means that particular ad, people sort of relate better to it, right? Maybe either, triggered something within them. They feel more obliged to react to it. Because CTR, click-through rate, means people actually click onto your ad, right? They click onto your ad, they read through your ad, then they click on shop now, right? And then they land onto your page, okay? So refer to ROAS first, okay? If your ROAS is doing well, but your CTR is not doing well, of course, just carry on first, it's okay, right? Because you're still making money, you're still making the sales, you see. Just that maybe change your ads, change your copy, change your images, okay? Okay, another question here. How long does an ad run for? Or what is the average frequency that it should hit? Well, it really depends. The chiropractor client that I have, that particular winning ad has been running since September until now. That's about, what, 6 months? It's until today, it's still the best performing ad. More importantly is the ad set, I would say, right? If the ad set works and then a particular ad within the ad set works, then just carry on running it. But okay, sorry, I forgot to mention just now. The reason why I put 3 to 5 ads is that because I want the ads to challenge. It's like Gladiator, You put all these ads into the ring, you let them fight each other, right? After 3 to 4 days or maybe a week, you will get a winning ad. Like, for example, just now you see we have the winning ad. I keep the winning ad, I kill off the ones that are weaker, I throw in new ads again, right? New ads meaning like new copies, new creatives, that means new images, new videos, right? Let it challenge the existing champion, okay? And if the champion is really good, then it will continue to defeat all these other ads, right? So Sasha, I hope that answers your question. If the ad is performing, just let it go, continue running, right? And if it's not, kill it off, put in a new copy, put in a new creative, and then test it out again, okay? All right. We have another question. We have 6 outlets, all in the Klang Valley and KL. If we target within XKM for each outlet, is that still diluting? No, it's not, but you will just have to test it out, okay? But like I said, be specific. One ad set, one location, if possible, okay? One ad set, one location. If you put too many locations within an ad set, that may sort of dilute things, but again, test it out, right? Okay, I understand Burger Labs locations are not too far apart, maybe apart from the Cyberjaya one, right? So maybe you can put those who are closer to each other, into one specific ad set. But again, you really have to test it out and see, okay? Then if you know it doesn't work, let's say you put, I know you have one in CPAC and one in OUG, if I'm not mistaken, right? So if you put those 2 in one ad set and you realize that it's not doing too well, okay, fine. Kill it, put CPAC 1, OUG 1. One ad set for OUG, one ad set for CPAC, then see how it performs again. Okay, so when you do things like that, you are intentionally setting things apart. Then that way you know when things work and when things don't work, you see. All right. Okay, next one. Maybe I take another question. Okay, how would you use campaigns to brand build rather than conversion sales? Traffic engagement, right? Traffic and engagement is good for branding and for traffic. Brand build, right? So to build a brand, you probably have maybe a certain promotional video or an article or something of that sort, right? That doesn't really have a specific goal to drive sales, for example, right? Look at running traffic ads or look at running engagement ads, because then the cost is a lot lower. Now, when I say run 100 ringgit for traffic, right, it's not 100 ringgit a day. I mean, of course, if you can afford 100 ringgit a day, by all means, right? But again, start small, 20 ringgit a day or 40 ringgit a day, 2 ad sets, traffic objective, right? And then just run it, okay? That will give you a lot of visibility for very low cost, right? Okay, let's see. Another one, would you go further down and target Shah Alam because got more Malay customers? Okay, I guess that's referring to my client because that is a Selangor and KL sort of covers everybody, right? I don't have to specifically target Shah Alam, right? I rather target broad. That means I target a broader area and then I use targeting to narrow my target audience than to pick a small area. So, okay, to answer the question as well, if you're going to do by radius, right? Because you're targeting a very small area now. Now, if you're targeting a small area and you put too many interests, that may be a problem, okay? When you target a bigger area, like my case, for example, Selangor and KL as a state, then I would put a bit more targeting to sort of narrow down the audience. Does that make sense? Right? If that makes sense, it's good. If it doesn't, feel free to just ask another question again, okay? Then I'll try to elaborate. Okay, I have a question here that says, what is the maximum number of detailed targeting that we can put? To be honest, I don't know. Because we don't, okay, when it comes to detailed targeting, right, we try not to put too many. Okay. I've tried before 45 targeting, 45 interests. That I was just like testing it out, lah, right? I divided it into 3 sections. So like section 1, narrow further, and then narrow further again. So it's 15 interests in each ad set. Of course, I have tools to help me do all these targetings, lah, but I tried that before. It does not perform any better, right? So don't do it. Don't follow me. Don't go and target 45 interests, okay? Just pick a few, right? And then just test it out.
Mark, I'm going to interrupt you here for a second.
Sure.
There's still 20 questions out there. And I don't know how long do you have to spend with us. So yep. I'm going to give you the what do you call it? The courtesy of rejecting further questions. Okay. You answer what you want based on your timing and of course yeah. So answer all 20 by all means if you have the time. If not, please don't feel shy to say, hey, look, I only can take 3 more questions and then pick your best.
Okay, cool. Questions. All right, never mind. I'll just spend the next maybe 5 more minutes answering the questions, right? Then we can move on from there. Okay, let me just see, because, okay, I'll try to pick questions from different people essentially, right? For e-commerce seller platform like Lazada, Shopee, also need FBIG as what we suggest. Okay, e-commerce seller platform, or sorry, that's marketplaces. We call Lazada, Shopee, Amazon, all these places, we call them marketplaces, right? Marketplaces, unless, okay, Lazada and Shopee has this thing called Lazada Mall and Shopee Mall, right? Once you have that status, right, you have this thing called CPAS, CPAS. It's going to get too technical. I'm not going to dive too deep into it. Once you're at that level, right, then only you can run ads to your Lazada store, okay? If you don't have that privilege, right, effectively, you can only run traffic ads to your Lazada store, okay? And if you ask me, in my opinion, it's better to have your own e-commerce site. I know it's going to be more expensive, but in the long run, it's going to benefit you much more because one, the data is yours, okay? In fact, even Facebook ads also, right? Facebook ads is actually not the long-term game for me and my clients, right? What I do with my clients as well, so we do a lot of data gathering, right? I tell them, make sure you have their name, make sure you have their email, make sure you have their phone number, because once you have these details, you can do so much more things. You can do email marketing. By the way, email marketing is absolutely not dead. I know guys who are doing amazing stuff with email marketing. Like absolutely, they're killing it with email marketing. It's not exaggerating, right? It really works, right? So gather all this data. Don't forgo email marketing as well, okay? So ultimately, data is money. Data is power, right? And that's one of the reasons why Apple wants to block Facebook. I suspect, right? Apple is going to create their own social media platform because Facebook is making so much money from advertising already. Okay. All right. Another question here. Do you recommend using lookalike audience? Yes. Lookalike audience is definitely use it, but you need at least, from what I know, the limit now is actually 1,000 entries. You need to have at least 1,000 data. Okay. So, or 500. If you have 500 emails and names, you can start creating lookalike audiences. All right. So definitely use lookalike audience. Let's see. Let's see what else do I have here. Oh, I skipped the age group, just not wish to explain. Okay. Age group. Actually, sorry. So the way I set the age group, So I will put the interest targeting in first. Let's say I put halal, dim sum, engaged shoppers. I see what is the audience size, right? So let's say if the audience size is too big, then I just adjust my age group accordingly, okay? But if your product is very age group specific, right? That means it appeals to specifically only a certain age group. Let's say 25 to 30, for example, okay? Then you can set 25 to 30 first, see how much, because the most important thing is your audience size, right? Keep it between 200 to 1.2 million, all right? Just keep it there. Let's see what else I can answer here. Okay, I have a business that is closed during MCO, sports coaching, right? Can we run ads to just retain, build our brand engagement page likes instead of sales? You can. Of course you can. If it's money that you can afford to spend, right? All these are vanity parameters. It's important. Of course, vanity parameters are important, right? Because you need to build your brand. You need to keep your image up as your company. You need to build a recognizable and trustworthy brand. So, but then again, if it's money you can spend, by all means, why not, right? Okay, is frequency something we need to concern about? Frequency, I'm not too sure I'm not sure what you're referring to, but I wouldn't be too concerned about that. I guess the key parameters, again, what is your objective, right? If it's lead generation, then the main parameter you should look at is cost per lead, right? If it's e-commerce or you're selling something online, then return on ad spend, okay? Okay, I have this question. Okay, this is a very good question. With too many ads running, wouldn't it cause brand fatigue? Okay, to be honest, you can only cause brand fatigue, right, when you spend 10,000 a day, honestly speaking. Okay, I don't want to mention names. I'm sure you have seen all these, there's a lot of posts going around on these digital marketing courses and master classes and everything. Now, those guys spend at least 2,000 to 3,000 or even up to 10,000 ringgit a day, right? When you're spending up to that level, right, then you will experience brand fatigue. If like for us, on a smaller scale, if you're going at 100, 200 ringgit a day only, chances are people won't be too sick of your ads, right? Okay. All right, let's see. Okay, I have this one. Would you consider photos outdated and short videos, 5 seconds, 50 seconds, a better alternative? Test it out. All I can say is you have to test. Okay, I did one before. We had videos, we had images. In fact, the images perform better than the videos. So you will never know, right? You will never know. You have to just test it out. Don't discredit anything. I know, of course, videos react better, but because you have so many people, right? Your audience are so varying, so you don't know who will react to what. So just put it out there, test it out, okay? All right, I'll just take one more question. Okay, this question. How will I be able to track if I'm promoting for my walk-in brick and mortar store sales? I believe all of the references earlier were for online sales only. Yes, so the ones that I shared just now was on online sales. Now, if you want to track for brick and mortar, right, it's going to go beyond the Facebook ecosystem already, right? I don't know how your CRM system is like and how digitized your brick and mortar is. One way you can do is you can run traffic ads. Let's say I have to assume that you are a restaurant, is it? If you're a restaurant, for example, I'm just going to use Rennie again as an example, right? Okay, Burger Lab is running a promo, right? It's a, I don't know, buy one, free one promo, for instance, okay? And they ran a traffic ad or an engagement ad, So the call to action is you have to screenshot this picture, show it to any of our staff at our outlets, and then you enjoy a buy one, free one, right? So in that case, when you come and screenshot and then you show in the outlet, then it really depends on your business on how you're going to track the conversions from there, Eddie, and how, like I said, to what level your business is how digital is your business like in that sense. So you can definitely still do it. The process is a bit longer, and we will probably have to create a deeper funnel in that sense, okay? So yeah, I think that's all.
All right. Mark, thank you so much for your time and your generosity in knowledge. I think we can all see that Mark has been very genuine with his sharing. He did not hide anything from us. And I really appreciate that, because these are the tools of your trade, the knowledge of your trade. And why, I told Mark to say, hey, come on here and share freely, because at the end of the day, a lot of us here are struggling and not knowing what to do, and just having this little bit of knowledge, if it gives that gives us that little bit of edge to survive past the next 1-2 months, that would be very useful. So thank you so much, Mark.
No problem. Sorry, yeah. I actually, because I just want to be fair to everybody as well. If you want to ask any more questions, right? I think I'll just put it in my chat, in the chat there. I'll just drop my email address here. Okay. Just send me an email. All right. Just send me an email. I will respond to you via email. Okay. Whatever questions you have, somewhere. If I didn't manage to answer your questions here, so yeah, just drop me an email. Do a bit of shameless promotion.
Actually,
I have.
Can I plug your website? Actually, that would be a better thing.
I have a website as well.
So if you head to marklim.net, you can actually book a 30-minute session with him. So that is actually a great place to, if you have further questions for it. Again, this is, like for when you say this is not an upsell, I think Mark has shared so many wonderful details and so far. I really appreciate the time for it.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Yeah. So like I said, I have a Facebook page as well, which I'm quite active on. You can like that page and drop me a PM there as well. I'm more than happy to respond there as well. And like I said, the reason why I'm more than happy to share also because, to be honest, like a lot of people say, all this information you can get online, right? You can download, you can watch it on YouTube and all. But ultimately, it's education as well, right? The more people understand how Facebook ads works, technically my job is easier as well. So then, as a conversation between me and a business owner, we're going to have a very different conversation, right? What kind of ads can we do? How can we improve our marketing campaigns? And I think that's a much more exciting conversation to have as compared to I have to sit down here and explain to you what a campaign is, what an ad set is, and everything and all, right? So yeah, thanks. Anyways, thanks Daniel, thanks Rennie for having me. I've had a lot of fun sharing.
Mark, thank you so much again. Like I said, for those that are going to contact Mark, do understand that he does run a business, well, 2 businesses, I think, at this point. And, let's not bombard him with too many questions on the side. If you can't afford for his services, maybe you can belanja him makan. I think he will accept that as some form of payment at this point.
No. I rather you pay it forward. No, don't worry, sir. I rather you pay it forward. Yeah. But just drop me an email. If you drop me an email, I'll definitely reply you. Just give me a few days, maybe 2-3 working days. I'll definitely reply you. Right.
All right. Thanks. All right. So if there's any further questions, like I said, like Mark said, email him. We hope to do more of these sessions. Right now, I have not planned anything else yet. If you feel like you have something to contribute that would help others in the industry, F&B specifically, do PM me directly and let me know what topics you would like to share. I don't think you need to be an expert in the field, but as long as you feel that it's something that could help others, even simple upselling skills or it doesn't always have to be marketing, right? It could be in-store service. I think like people like strangers could really share on those topics. So if you feel like sharing, this is a platform to do so. And I think Dan has generously offered his platform for use during this period. So let's take advantage of that and help each other out. All right. Dan, do you have any other last words or any thing to plug?
Nothing really. Just thank you very much for attending. There's a lot of questions and really appreciate Mark for sharing. And it's always a good refresher to actually go through that. And I think those are actually really valuable stuff that you can actually with to do a lot of digital marketing for your businesses, regardless of it. I would just like to say, again, the room will be open. So feel free to hang out at the lounge if you want to just chit-chat and network with each other. And we'll just end this stage segment for now. Thank you very much, Rennie. Thank you very much, Mark. And I will see you guys soon.
All right, have a good evening, everyone.
Bye-bye. Yep, stay safe.
Bye.